benefit to anyone needing to view CAD documents but doesn't require the need to actually use a CAD system. This is the Deep View interface. I can simply drag and drop our trailer file into the viewport and wait for the file to load up. Once it's loaded, you will see that visually Deep View looks very similar to Deep Exploration. You can orientate the model around and hide or unhide components. And on the right hand side are some useful tools that allow users to easily explore these files and get a better idea of the designs that they are looking at. You can view the model in the same modes as Deep Exploration, for example wireframe, technical illustration or solid outline. And Deep View also features a cross-section tool so that users can easily interrogate the internal aspects of a design for fit and function. Here we can see the cross-section in both X and Y directions, giving a more detailed view of the trailer model. On the left hand side are various other tools. We have the ability to see and access the scene tree exactly as per Deep Exploration, and we can see also a parts list which we can sort either via part ID or part name or by the quantity of that particular part within our trailer assembly. But most importantly for us is the ability to see those markups that which were just created. You can see here on the right hand side the thumbnails of those markups. Exactly as per Deep Exploration, you can click on them to view that particular markup. Here we can see the two that I created earlier on have the ability to amend those markups or create others and then save back to the native Deep Exploration format so those comments can be seen by others. So that's an overview of markups and how they can be created and used within Deep Exploration, and additionally how they can be used using the free download Deep View. The next area I'm going to deal with is how to create animations within Deep Exploration. This panel on the right hand side, called Steps and Procedures, deals with animations. I've already created some short steps here that show how some of the hydraulic systems on this trailer work. Animations can be a very important tool for designers and engineers, as well as many other departments involved in the use of a product. They can be used to clarify and validate how mechanical designs work. They can be used for marketing purposes. They can be used by manufacturing and assembly lines for reference on how a product is assembled, and could be used by maintenance departments for reference on how to mend or disassemble a product. These animations that I just played are just a set of short, simple sequences that you can see listed here. If I activate one of these sequences and move the animation slider at the bottom of the screen, you can see the movement involved in that sequence. These sequences are really very simple to create, and I will show you an example of creating a sequence and then how to group these sequences together to create a longer, more detailed animation. On our trailer design, these feet come down to ground level to help stabilise the trailer when the container is being loaded or unloaded. So I can just create a new sequence here on the right hand side and go and give it a logical name so that it can be easily identified from the other sequences. I can specify the length of the sequence in either frames, or in this case I'll choose seconds and make this 2 seconds long. So now all I have to do is simply record what I'm doing on the screen. It's a really very simple process. I'll just slide the animation slider to the end and then hit the record icon. Now a nice feature of Deep Exploration is that if I select a component on the screen, it will show me in the scene tree exactly what subassembly that component is part of. So it makes it very easy for me to select the entire foot subassembly here. So I'll select the right and left hand feet so that they both move down at the same time, and I'll simply move them down to ground level. As you can see here, I can change views to get a better look at where ground level is, and then once they are in their final position I can stop the recording of this sequence. Then by moving the slider here I can see the sequence I just created in action, or I can simply play it from the beginning to the end. I can then just reorder these sequences simply by dragging and dropping them. This is not entirely necessary, but it does make things a little bit more logical to look at. As we can see, I now have the main arms lowering and then the feet lowering as well. Now I want this animation to be a complete cycle of the trailer unloading a container, so that means that these feet will have to retract as well. To do this, I can simply duplicate and reverse the sequence I just created, rather than creating an entirely new sequence. The system is very intuitive to use, and I can simply right mouse button click and select duplicate to make a copy of this sequence, and then rename this one to label it as the sequence where the feet retract. And I can do the same with the arms as well. However, this time I can duplicate and reverse at the same time, and then again rename and reorder. So you can see here, in a few very simple, quick steps, I have the arms and feet lowering, and then 2 copied sequences that show them retracting. I'll then go back to the Steps and Procedures tab, and I can group these short, simple sequences together to make a more detailed animation. I'll create a new step and call it Stabilizers, and then simply select the sequences I want to feature in this step, and at this point I can also reorder them if I want to. And what we can also say here is that whatever orientation the trailer is in when I play this animation, it should take 3 seconds to fly to the view of my choice. And this is something that makes the animation look really nice when it transitions from one step to another. So it wants to be the first step, so again I can drag and drop to reorder these steps, and then I'll create the final step. I'll go through exactly the same process as before, so name the step, and then choose the sequences I want to use in whatever order I want to use them in. And again, take 3 seconds to fly to this position. Now once that's done, I can easily update the position in which these steps are viewed. And I'll do that with both of these new steps, so we can get a bit closer to the moving parts and we can see them in more detail. And I can then play all of these steps together. So we can see here the new ones that we've added with the feet coming down. And then the transition between the steps taking 3 seconds to fly to that new position we specified. As I mentioned before, this could be easily used by many different departments within a company to educate people or show people how designs work, or how they are assembled or disassembled, or quite simply just to convey conceptual designs to other designers. These animations could also be annotated with notes or images, or industry standard symbols to add further details. And at any point the viewer can stop the animation and go and interrogate the model to look at certain areas in even more detail. These animations are also viewable in the free to download Deep View product, which we saw earlier on when we were looking at markups. And finally, this set of steps could be output and saved as a fully rendered photorealistic file, the most common of which will be in an AVI format.